individual, someone that I've known for quite some time. I'm pretty connected to both business and personal. But today's conversation, we're going to talk, of course, a little bit about business. We're going to dive into tech, but the majority of our conversation is going to be around mindset, whether it's investing, whether it's in AI. Who knows? Definitely stay tuned to the end to figure out all the questions and topics we hit. But I want to introduce none and the one and only Mr. Trey Cooper. You can just tell us maybe where you're from, a little bit about yourself, and how you feeling today, man.
All right, so a little bit about myself. I'm Trey Cooper. I'm originally from Apopka, Florida, so a little town right outside of Orlando, Florida. I went to school up in North Carolina A&T, Aggie
Aggie
Pride.
Pride, yeah.
I did my undergrad. I got a bachelor's in mechanical engineering with a concentration in aerospace, and then I did my master's. I have a master's of science in management, and currently I work as an engineer at Northrop Grumman, and building businesses on the side. I have my main business, Stay Starving, and I've been building a lot with AI as well, helping other businesses get integrated with AI, and yeah, today, feeling great. Blessed and highly favored every day, man. Every day.
But I really want to start off, and this is something I'm really curious about as well. Like, what is your mindset when you think about, your career, building out your business? A lot of people say, hey, if I get a job in tech, engineering, etc., I can kind of just kick back and I'm good. The salary's okay. What's your
Yeah.
mindset there?
I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's good, like it's comfortable, but like for me personally, I'm not those type of people that, or I'm not that type of person that I could just like, oh, I'm gonna be comfortable with, just making this amount of money and like, doing the type of things. Like, don't get me wrong, engineering definitely afforded me um, many luxuries and things I could do, like move around and everything like that. So that's, it's cool. But I just seen that there's a lot more money out there than what I'm making. And like, for my mindset, like where I work at is like a classified area. It's pretty like locked down. Think about like the Matrix type of thing. It's like a cube farm. And so like
Right.
that mentality, I'm just like, I'm not trying to sit here and like, work for 10 hours a day. And it's just got to be better ways to make money type of thing. So
For sure. And that kind
yeah,
of goes hand in hand with your business. Stay
yeah,
starving. Like, where
yeah.
did that name come? What's the backstory a little bit there? And then like, how do you feel about that even today, years even after you developed it?
Yeah. So like Stay Starving, how it even came about, literally like in the name, Stay Starving. So every day I would come home from, work and I would get into my office. I would start looking at properties, start like, building up the business, looking at, things maybe trade. Like yeah, I would be doing everything. And so like really the main message of Stay Starving is like, if you're starving, you're gonna eat by any means type of thing. So like I would really come home from work and like really be starving. Like I would not eat all day. Like I would have like, a little lunch type of thing, but like I
Sure.
wouldn't eat. It would be like 10 o'clock at night, like 9, 10 o'clock at night before I eat. And I would really be starving. I'm like, just stay starving. I gotta finish this up. I gotta do this and that. And like when you're like in that flow of working type of thing, like you don't really think about, oh, I need to eat. So like, and unless my stomach was really telling me like, "Yo, you're
Right,
starving.
right.
Just stay starving." So that's kind of really how it came about, and just like that main message of like a lot of people they say like stay hungry, but stay starving. It takes that to another level. And like I said, if you starving, you're gonna eat by any means. So I'm gonna eat type of thing.
Right. Like literally
Yeah.
hungry for success. I'm
Yeah.
noticing a theme here. Kind of me and you both, right? We have great foundations, college educated, good career, good degree. You mentioned from levels of comfortability. A lot of folks our age and our bracket are like kind of cool out.
Yeah.
How do you kind of view just in terms of just deploying, because to invest, to do anything, it does require capital.
Yeah.
So would you say like your job is like one of your main investors to kind of like your businesses and letting you kind of roam from there?
Yeah, that's definitely like the main, I would say like the main vehicle that kind of is in the flywheel to like of capital. And just like investing in itself, I would say is it's a more of a muscle because like if you wouldn't invest $1, if you get $1,000, $1 million, you're not gonna invest that. And so I've been investing since I was about like 18, right when I got out of high school, going to college type of thing. I started like learning about investing and I was working at AutoZone, and I was just investing those little checks and like whatever little money I got. It didn't start, with much. Like I was just investing like $10 here, $20 there, buying like, little things. Um, and so like now when you start to have more money, you start to like kind of be able to, okay, I can invest this much, or like the easiest part, like the way that I describe to people, I'm like, just make it as easy as possible to invest, like set up easy, like investment, I would say set up like automatic investments. And so
Right.
like it's just like on autopilot. You don't have to think about it. Like I would say just like make it a little second savings account type of thing. And then you could, go from there.
Like a skill, and I like the frame that
Yeah.
you use, muscle. Like the same way most
Yeah.
people go grab coffee in the morning, kind of
Yeah.
just making it habitual where you're just investing, even at those small levels, will continue to
Yeah.
grow. I got a controversial question, right? Because I saw an article. Somebody said, I don't know the quote, but they said a lot of people in this generation today cannot, will not, and prefer to not even write a manual email, right? They may, like if somebody's asking a basic question, they get stuck without the assistance of AI. And I know we both were in school, you probably a little bit closer to like the AI introductions. What
Yeah.
is like the downside of maybe us overutilizing AI? And then we'll talk about some of the pros and some of the cool things you've been doing on the AI front.
That's a good question. Because like you said, with AI, it's literally in everything. And even like with Gmail now, like it already has like Gemini already like integrated, so you could just have it create a email for you. I would say like I personally I use, AI for everything.
Hmm.
For like work emails, like I've learned that, you could be professional, but at the same time, like when you're at work, a lot of like these higher level engineers, they're just like, all right, cool, thanks. Like, it's just like it's not even like really email etiquette. So like for those type of emails, I'm like, all right, I could just write it myself. It doesn't take that much. And then like for regular emails I'm doing business for, I would kind of like more or less use AI for it. I'm a big like believer in AI and a big like, I'm team AI
Bro.
type of thing. So yeah, for me, I use AI every day.
Yeah, because it's similar to like the internet or any type of
Yeah,
new creation in societies. You're gonna have that group that's kind of holding on to the past, and then you have the accelerators, and then eventually through the years, and I see like we're seeing that now, people just have no choice but to accept it. We were
yeah,
having a conversation before Chat GBT versus Claude. The average person probably has heard a little bit of Gemini, definitely utilized Chat GBT, but from a
yeah,
business owner, a creator, like I haven't even used Claude too much. So you're telling me like what's the difference, right?
yeah.
Why should someone consider switching to Claude?
So I would say like in my personal opinion, like with ChatGPT, it's good for what most people use it for, like
Right.
for, sending emails, like looking up little things, researching things. But you can't really build anything with ChatGPT. Like if you said, "Hey, Chat, can you make me a website?" It they do have like Canvas, like so if you go on ChatGPT, they have like a canvas that you could actually like build on, but it's not as good as like Claude or Gemini. Like if I'm building websites, usually I'll start off on like a front end and like do like a MVP, kind of get like a good base on Gemini, and then I'll take it over to Claude Code and then have it like flush out the back end and then like really hook it up. Like I would say Claude Code, it's not really for developers, but like that's what they made the tool for.
Right.
However, like with my tech background and like with like I was, using code and like stuff like that back in high school, like coding robots and like I kind of learned that through like MATLAB and just on my own learning Java and Python type of thing. So I always kind of liked computers regardless. But like if you're a non-technical person, I would say like ChatGPT and like Gemini, like they're still cool. But if you want to build more and like really unlock what AI could do, like Claude
Mm.
Code is definitely the way. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, even at my job now, everyone uses Claude Code, and I feel
Yeah.
like, man, it's so much things, so many different things I need to learn. It's like crazy. They're having it do like literally build stuff. It's literally like moving like an AI agent, and it's
Bro,
blowing my mind.
the type of things that you could like, the only limit that you have is your mind, really. Like, if you could think about it, you could build it. And like, even there's a lot of stuff I don't know. Like, I'm not a developer by any means or like a software engineer, but if I don't know something, I'm just gonna ask Claude like, hey, what is this? Or like, can you explain it? Or can you just do it? Most of those things Claude could just do itself. Like it'll go out and research how to add any skills or anything like that. Or it will, really do anything you want. Like it's crazy how far they've come. And they just dropped another like feature on Claude Code today. Like, yeah.
Oh wow. And I mean, for someone that's starting off on Cloud Code, is there anything, do you remember your first time using it? Like, what were your first impressions? I guess what's the first thing that you saw where you were like, hey, I
Yeah,
actually need
this is
to
it.
be over
Like,
here instead of
yeah.
ChatGPT?
So, I watch like a lot of YouTube and like I keep up with a lot of AI stuff on like Twitter and everything. Like I would say Twitter is like the main source of like AI news and like really news in general or like where I get my news from personally. And so just like moving along in the AI space, I was one of like the early adopters with ChatGPT, like when it first came out in
Yes.
like October, like back in 2022. I was like one of the first million users type of thing. So like I was
Wow.
always on like AI from the very beginning. And so when they came out like with Claude Code, like when Anthropic came out with it, at first I was like, "Oh, I don't really know what it is. Like, kind of what's the difference? Like you have to kind of use it in a terminal environment so it looks more like very technical. It's not like a super easy interface like ChatGPT just on the web. So it's like a little bit more setup required, but it's really not too hard.
Right.
And so like I would say for me, like I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials, a lot of like things to build up my knowledge on it, and then I was like, oh, okay, like, and then actually using it, I'm like, oh, okay, and just seeing like all the use cases that you could actually use it for, like building out websites, like I haven't really set up like my whole like operating system now from like everything. I have it send me Telegram messages, like I could talk to it from my phone. It's crazy the type of thing. So I was just like, you can't do that with chat or like any other agents right now. They do have OpenClaw, or what is it called now? Not
Opus,
Claudebot, but they call it a Moltbot.
Mapbot.
They had to change it, but like that type of thing. So now basically Claude Code just did the same thing. It's called Remote Start or Remote Control, and you could use your phone now to operate your agent from wherever you're at, and you don't need to be, at your computer.
Dang, I mean, when we use the term agent, right? I think about the AI can almost act as a person and complete certain tasks. I
Yes.
think about like the Zapiers, the connectors.
Yep. Yep.
Is that the same thing? Like, is it really like that? Can they go in and do and click certain things as if they
Oh,
were a person?
100%. Yes. Like I would say like it's kind of scary at sometimes, but at the same time, it's like super crazy when you see it in action and you're like, oh, it's actually like if I'm looking up something and I like am trying to do some research or something, I could just tell it like, hey, look this up. It'll open up a whole nother window. Like it'll open up like a Google Chrome extension and like go and research it and like you could actually like watch it research and like look through stuff and click stuff. Like, bro, it's crazy. It'll open up windows, do whatever.
Wow.
And yeah, like I could have it. I just, I'm definitely like a little bit of a one of those people on Twitter that like, oh, them engineers are cracked. They're just like, deploying at 2 a.m. Like I was up last night till like 12 a.m. and I deployed a couple websites and I have chat. I mean, I have like Claude do it all. Like I can have it push to GitHub, push to Vercel to have it on the deployment and just do it all from there. Like the
Man.
way that AI is moving right now is insane, I would say for sure.
And I'm a big fan of automations, but I feel like I'm
Yeah.
not at the level I need to be yet. When you're thinking of, I mean, with the knowledge that you have and you're still learning, what are some things that you've heard or saw that you want to implement soon within your businesses or within using AI?
So currently what I'm building out now is like an operating system for just like my personal business and for like all the other businesses that I do and like for just like my life in general. Like if I think about something and I'm like, dang, this is kind of like a repetitive task or like something I do very often, maybe I could automate this. And then I would
Right.
go and like think about ways to automate it and like kind of like what you're saying, like with Zapier, or like even N8N. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but like those are like workflows or like automations. So like I started learning automations with N8N and a little bit of Zapier as well. but like just like having workflows and kind of like using that logic in real life and practice, and just kind of like implementing it on from there. And so like I would say with like something that I'm still looking to do is like fully automate. I would say about like 80% of my life. I'm like when I wake up having, like morning emails sent to me with all like the AI news, like investment news, real estate news, things that I would like to see, like curate my life in a way that I would like to, see and not having to think about it too much.
Right. Anything that's repetitive. It's
Hmm.
just crazy there's no limits
Bro,
with the
it's
information.
yeah, and
It's
I just got
crazy.
no limits like on Claude. So like we had kind of spoke a little bit before like you could have Claude for like the $20 a month program or whatever, but what I was running into a lot was limits because I would be doing a lot of work and then I would be limited. I would hit that block and I'm like, dang. So now I upgraded to that max plan, $100 a month. So I'm really in the
Gone.
field. I'm really serious. I'm, put my money where my mouth is, and it takes it
And
to a whole nother level for sure.
a lot of people have those benefits, even like myself, through work. And,
Oh yeah.
it's like we're not even utilizing all these products that we have at our disposal, because sometimes for some people, maybe it feels like the learning curve, or they're just like,
Yeah, they like a little scared of like AI or like they don't want to adapt to it. I understand like the fear, and at first like even with Claude Code, like I was using chat for everything, and like don't get me wrong, it's great, but just like when you really start like working on things that you're like, oh, I could use like ChatGPT just won't cut it type of thing. There's other
right,
things that you could use, and like if you get out of that mindset, like, oh, like it's too technical for me, or like, oh, I can't do it. Like there's nothing now that you cannot do type of thing. Like if you
right.
really want to do it, you could do it.
It's always an option. And how do you
Yeah,
feel about just from a career standpoint, the integration within AI? Some folks argue and say that it could take jobs. There are other folks to look at it like, it could, one, help me with my jobs, and two, potentially create new types of jobs. Where do you kind of fall within that spectrum?
I definitely fall on the spectrum of I feel like AI will replace like repetitive tasks and things that like you know you wouldn't want to do regardless type of thing, like
Right.
researching or like things that take a lot of time that you could use your time to do something better. I would say that like it would definitely replace those type of jobs, and I would say for most people like at least learn about AI and like know how to prompt learn about AI, because if you don't know anything about AI, you're gonna get replaced, I would say for sure. Like even down to the fast food workers, like now, if you go to like McDonald's, Wendy's, they have a kiosk. They have,
Straight up.
you have AI voice agents type of thing that will take your order. They don't really need people now, but the thing about it is they need people to prompt and that understand AI to help like keep on, furthering it and like have a human in the loop. I always say like I like to have a human in the loop of things, so it's not just going off the rails and doing whatever it wants to do.
Right. Some type of guidance. And we've been
Yeah, for
utilizing
sure.
that terminology too. Um, I mean, from a career standpoint, also, do you feel like there will be new opportunities that could open up based off these things that you've been seeing?
100%. Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be new career opportunities. Even like a lot of people are like, oh, software developers are going to be gone. Like they're going to have, cloud or like AI is just going to run everything, which I would say is false because Anthropic, they're still hiring AI engineers. They're still
True.
hiring, you know, the things that they need. Like, and if they just had, they do have like AI to make it easier to write code. I would say like the way that coding is gonna be like moving forward, you're gonna just code in natural language or just like basically you're gonna be directing the AI and telling it like, hey, I want you to do this. Like, so as the human, you know the outcome or like what you would like to see, and then you direct your agent, hey, do this, do that, and you kind of like course correct as it, goes to get the, final outcome.
And this just popped in my head. I don't know if this is a horrible analogy, but it kind of reminds me almost like of Iron Man in his suit. Like
Yeah,
Iron
Jarvis.
Man is is not a good fighter, but he's smart. Like he
Yeah,
programmed the suit in a way, and he talks to it. It kind of guides it to be able to complete the task. So that's kind of what I hear when you say, 'cause controversial topic. I've heard, and I'm not in the engineering space at all anymore, but I've heard people say today's engineer is garbage coding wise, code for
yeah,
code, line for line, compared to the engineer 10, 15 years ago. But it's like
yeah.
it's just two different times.
Because like I would say like back in the day like you had to know how to code because
Right.
what I've learned from being in this AI space now is like everything is code. Like even how we're talking to even how we're talking to each other right now is just code. Like this front end website, it has a back end that the data's going somewhere. Like it once you kind of like really get into the space, you kind of see how deep it goes. You're like, oh wow, everything is just like everything's connected. So I would say like now um everything is like moving towards like everything moves very quickly. Like things change very rapidly within the space. And back then like you had to actually know the code. Now you just kind of have to know what you want type of thing.
Right. No, you got to know where it is or maybe what it's called, but you don't necessarily
Yeah.
know how to like implement it anymore. Is what I'm hearing. You just kind of know a little bit, like, yo, go do this. This needs to be
Yeah.
done, but boy, maybe 10, 15 years ago, you would need to know what it is and how to actually go implement it.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
remove that how aspect, which is powerful. I feel like that takes a lot of time. It could take people years and
Exactly.
weeks to fix a little button on a site where it's like
Yeah.
now, if we know what we're trying to fix, AI could go in and knock the whole thing out.
And it can read all the doc. So like when it doesn't know something, it'll go out and research and it'll read like API documents. It'll read like anything that it needs to learn and understand, okay, this is how I fix it. Or like even the code itself, when I'm like, coding or doing whatever I'm doing, and like it's like, oh, I have an error. Let me go back and test it and fix it. Like it has self-healing properties and it'll, fix the code itself without even me prompting like, oh, hey, there's an error here. Fix that. Like it'll like automatically understand like, oh, this doesn't work. There's an error right here online, whatever, and just fix it.
One thing is kind of related, but a little bit on a different subject. What's your thoughts on just productivity? We talked about AI and coding. There's a term out there called like vibe coding or maybe like vibe creating. How do you stay productive in a world of notifications, things, whistles? Like, what's your thoughts there just when it comes to just getting into that flow state?
Um, so with me, like every morning I meditate for real, kind of just like setting the day and just kind of setting my mind because at the end of the day, mindfulness and like gratitude, that's like a really big thing, at least in my personal life. And kind of like understanding. So like I know my first at least hour of the day, like I'm not on my phone. I don't like when I wake up, I'm not immediately looking at social media, looking at text,
Okay.
like texting people back. I take time to myself and kind of just like, set the day. And then like once I start getting to work and, doing what I need to do, I feel like I do a lot more work when I get home from my actual job. And that's when
For
the
sure.
real work begins. Like,
For sure.
after your 9 to 5, it's your 5 to 9 type of thing. And I actually have like an hourglass that I set and I flip over and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna work on a task for however long this hourglass goes, and then after that I'll, go to the next thing. So that kind of
I like
helps
that.
me stay productive.
Are you at like airplane mode, like phone off, phone out of the room? Like, how do you manage with like those constant notifications or just the urge to scroll or just pick up the phone or whatever?
I guess it just comes down like to discipline. Sometimes like I'll really put my phone like underneath the hourglass so then I
Right.
can't get to it. Like I could, but I'm like, I have to take it off. Like, and then like to me personally, like if I'm working on something, I'm working on it. I'm not getting distracted. Like if a notification, like maybe I'll look at it, like, if it's my mom calling me or something, I'll be like, okay, like, let me answer. But like, little notifications from like Instagram or from like Facebook or like text messages, I'm okay with not looking at or like responding right away. Like, I'm not the person that's like, oh, I need to,
Right.
see who texted me or like, oh, who liked my page. Like, no, I don't really care about that.
But it's interesting you say that because I feel like most people, and sometimes even me, transparently, it's like it's hard not to. So it's like
Yeah.
There's been times where I may have to go on airplane mode or turn off notifications for certain apps, and it's like, dang, it sucks that it has to be that way, but that's why it's also good for the creativity side. It's like
Mm.
we can actually produce as opposed to just constantly consume, you know?
Yeah, and that's actually a good thing that you said, like, that because I look at myself as like a producer, and so like, I produce content, I produce things. I don't want to be too much consuming, and like the only things I like to consume are things that are gonna like actually help me. Like, so I'm consuming like AI news, investment news, market news, like things that are happening in the world, that will like further me along. I'm not looking at like scrolling for entertainment, like, oh yeah, this is a funny video, like. And don't get me wrong, I do that sometimes.
For sure,
And
for sure.
like you said, we're all human, but then like I kind of have to reel myself in. I'm like, oh dang, I just spent the last 30 minutes just kind of doom scrolling on TikTok or like on Instagram, and that I could have been, doing something else. And so like you said, it's kind of like that balance. You just have to really be mindful about it. And a lot of
Yeah.
people aren't mindful. They'll just like, scroll for hours and scroll for hours, and that's what they want you to do, type of thing. And
It's
so
crazy. Like
yeah, like
that
they
can
spend a
happen
lot
to
of money to
anybody.
keep you on that app. Like you worked at Google, you worked at Meta, so like they spend a lot of money and development and time to keep people on these apps.
It
So
works.
yeah, the
They're
job they
good.
do it.
It works, and it's like, yo, now they have applications to stop people from doom scrolling,
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, it's like somebody sends like here's as simple as it is. You send me a funny video, cool, okay, haha,
right.
and I swipe, there's another funny video, and you
That
look
yeah,
up, it's
the
20
algorithm.
minutes, like yo.
Yeah, no facts. Yeah, and like you don't really think about the time that because time goes quickly. Like the thing about it is like, time is something you can't get back,
No,
And so I'm always very conscious about like time and like especially just like, time value is rule number one type of thing. And my dad very much like impressed that upon me when I was young and just kind of growing up and through Sigma as well, just like time means a lot. Like a lot of people at even the end of their lives are like billionaires are like, oh, I wish I had the last 10 years back, or like if I was 10 years younger, I would have done this. And so I'm just like I'm very mindful of time and of like knowing that I have a lot since I'm young, but at the same time, it's not as much as you think, I guess.
right, and like maximizing your time too,
And
because nothing's
maximize, yeah,
guaranteed. And then also like, yo, we got this day, this week. I forgot, I
yeah,
saw a quote somewhere. People try to overestimate what they can do in a short amount
yeah.
of time and underestimate what they can do
What you can
over
do
a
in like
long
10
period of
years or
time.
something. Yeah,
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 consistency. Hey, not for me. Like I've had to put limits on certain applications.
yeah,
Social media breaks can be tough as a creator because it's like, I
yeah,
still want to stay tapped in. I still want to post my content. But for everyone that's listening, stay healthy, right? If you feel like you're getting overly consumed, like take a break. Like it's okay. Like you're not missing too much.
yeah. And for like, I know for me personally, like as a creator, I want to post and do this as well. So I know that I don't like to personally post, so I have my AI do it for me, you know what I mean? So like,
Right.
and I know you
What do
have probably something like that as well.
what do you use for tooling wise for AI posting?
I use Opus Clips
Opus
for,
Clips. Okay, yeah, I know
yeah,
Opus Clips. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So we're
have
gonna use
that for
Opus
like,
Clips for this.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, I'll record like a long form YouTube and then I'll, have it chopped up and then post it everywhere, post it to YouTube, post it to TikTok. And then people will be like, oh yeah, I seen your video. I was like, oh, that's great. Thank you.
Nice. I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Which one? Like,
Now,
yeah.
as we're wrapping up, within your mentality, your business, the way you live your life, what is maybe something controversial or something that you kind of live by or believe in slash understand that maybe some other people would feel differently about?
Hmm.
And you
I
can
feel like,
marinate on that.
yeah, I feel like me personally, and it's just like uh mentality, I guess that kind of like, feeds into everything that I do. But it's kind of almost like not good enough type of thing, but it's like every day I'm like, I know I could have probably did a little bit better. Or like, if I'm like scrolling my phone, I'm like, dang, like I'm wasting time from doing something that I could have been doing. And like at the end of the day, a lot of people they kind of waste their potential on they know that they could do a lot of stuff and everybody like, oh yeah, I would love to do this and that, but they just don't execute. So it's really about like execution and kind of like just thinking like, oh, okay, like I could always do more. And I know that's just like for me personally, I'm like, oh dang, I could have, did a little bit more. And like at the end of the day, a lot of people, you really could do more. Like, everybody always says there's 24 hours in a day, and I get that like there's a lot of other stuff happening in the other 12 hours. You gotta sleep, you gotta do this and that. And like, no, I just worked a whole 10-hour day. I went to the bank, I was there for 2 hours. I was doing a lot of stuff before I even got to this podcast, and I'm still, on here.
True.
I still haven't even eaten. It's, 7:40 here in Florida. And I live this lifestyle, stay starving for real. Like all I had today was some pancakes for breakfast, but
Please eat, please eat. But I
Right?
also hear that you're pushing, right? And that you're always
Yeah,
conscious. It's almost like sports in a way. It's like, man, I
yeah,
scored 25 points, but like, could have done better. I had two
yeah,
turnovers or whatever analogy we want to utilize, but applying that same mentality and the same level of seriousness with our life. I feel like a lot
yeah,
of us, like we talked about before, like I got a good job, I'm making six
yeah,
figures, close to it, a little bit over, whatever, and you not even kind of keeping track of your day-to-day performances, week to week, month to
yeah.
month. And I'm hearing for you, like the mindfulness is there and the hunger is there. Like you actually, you know,
I'm starving.
eager to learn. Yeah, starving, literally.
Yeah.
Starving. Any last words that you want to leave? Any motivation? This maybe anything you didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on before we wrap up?
Um, I would just say like for at the end of the day, just like make sure definitely take care of yourself, make sure you eat for sure. But stay starving. It's a lifestyle to me. And like I always have like a little motto at the end when I end my videos is like, stay locked in, stay focused, and stay starving. And it's really just like that mindset, like, that Mamba mentality type of thing is just like, what's it to be happy about? Job's not done. I kind of keep that in my mind sometimes, like, be like, oh, you just did that. Like, that's great. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, job's not done. Like, what's it? Yeah, exactly. Just keep on. There's levels to this game. And, like, you know, the levels to wealth out here and, like, what is possible is really just like what you believe and like those limiting beliefs type of thing. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think I can make a million. Or like, it would be great to make a million, but like they don't think that they could type of thing, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? And like for
Believe.
me, I know that I'm gonna make a million. I'm going to make like it's just gonna be like crazy. It's just like what you believe. So you really have to like it sounds cliche, but like believe that you can, like believe that you can succeed and you will type of thing.
I love that. Believe in
Yeah,
yourself and
yeah,
those
for sure.
limiting things we can say to ourselves, they can come from others. But I think
Yeah,
it's also why it's important to have these conversations and just be around positive people, listen to positive stuff to kind of fill up our cup, with good
yeah,
influences in our life, man. But Trey, I appreciate you for being on the show. I definitely want to connect with you again. And like you
appreciate it.
say, stay starving, stay focused, and let's keep it going, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All right,
Peace.
peace.